Okay, and the second one, I'm going to use a product that some of you might know about. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what is available regionally for you, but there's a product called LaCroix. I think that's how you pronounce it, and it's kind of like a flavored sparkling water. Okay, and so this product started a few years ago. It started being all over the place. Started carrying at Costco, and a lot of people started drinking it as an alternative to drinking juice or soda or something like that. Okay, and this product when it first came out was, or at least when it first kind of got popular, was doing really well. The company was doing really well, and then in recent times it's been having a little bit of trouble. And so we're going to use our supply and demand graph to try to understand this idea. Okay, so here we go. So again, starting point, draw your model. Then the second, so label your equilibrium. Um, the second point is to figure out what the scenario is. So here's our scenario. Our scenario number 2 is people started to copy their idea. And so that's the basic idea. And this is kind of a basic principle that you would find in managerial economics. Is it's very difficult to be successful and have high profits over the long run. So in the short run, you come up with a great idea, but if you don't have any way to protect that idea, then new firms are going to see what you're doing and they're going to try to do the same thing. And especially if they have more money and more research and development, a little more sophisticated, they might even be able to do it better than you are. Okay, so they might eventually even push you out of the market. So that's what happened. So so we get these other companies. I'm going to consider them to be producing something similar but not identical. Okay, so we get more similar products enter the market. Okay, more similar products enter the market. So one example is there's something called Spindrift is a brand that makes similar kind of drinks, and I think there's the Buble or Bubbly or whatever they're called. So the Bublés, I think, and I think there's one or two other companies that are entering this market too. So the market, they realize this is a great idea with people being concerned about too much sugar and health and all that, and then they copy. And there's nothing to stop them from copying, and not copying, but from taking this idea and then developing it a little bit further. And these other companies made some innovations, so their drinks supposedly taste a little better. They're not just sparkling water; they also have a little bit of fruit juice in them, for example, in the case of Spindrift. So you get the idea. So customers like these other things. So who do you think this is going to affect? Is this affecting demand or supply? So you should have said, well, yes, it's going to affect our demand. So it's going to be demand. I'm just going to draw a big D for demand. And it's going to help or hurt. So we can expect, yes, it's going to hurt them. Okay, it's going to hurt the demand for this LaCroix, right? This is the market we're looking at. So it's going to hurt them, and so then it's going to be a decrease in demand. In fact, the decrease in demand might even be bigger than that. And so this decrease in demand, now some of you are saying, well, it's also going to hurt their supply, and then you're going to start shifting the supply curve. Well, we have to look at a direct effect and indirect effect. So the direct effect is demand. The customers are less willing to buy their product. That's the direct effect. So you could, what's the indirect effect is because customers are buying less of the product, well, they're going to be making less of it. But the reason they're making less of it is because they can't sell it, right? Even if they give big discounts or have specials at the supermarket or such, and they might even find some stores will stop carrying their product because customers prefer this other new product, and space on the shelf. As we know, we have scarce resources, so space on the shelf is scarce, and so they might even get bumped out of some stores. I think recently in my local Costco, LaCroix got bumped in favor of Spindrift. So for them, it's going to look like this. And so for the supply curve, it's going along the curve. This is a decrease in quantity supplied, right? This is just along the curve. And so we end up with our new equilibrium down here. And our new equilibrium, they are selling less and they're doing a lower price, okay? So we go we get a decrease in quantity supplied. This is along the curve, right? This is caused by the lowering the price. And so with our final result, we get a lower price and a lower quantity, equilibrium quantity. Okay, so now in this case, it's really bad for the firm. Doesn't really, for the customers, it's actually a good thing. They have more choices, and if they still like LaCroix, they can probably even get it on discount, assuming they can still find it. So if you follow the news at all about business and such, this I can't remember off the top of my head what the company, what their symbol is, but this company's stocks were tumbling and weren't doing very well because of this situation, right? So, but we could kind of predict this using supply and demand and just kind of thinking about it. So, all right, that concludes this scenario, and I'll come back in a second and do the last scenario for this chapter.